Hey Pampa, it's Courtney with the Pampa Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to the very first episode of Beyond the Counter, our brand new video series from the Pampa Chamber of Commerce, where we shine a spotlight on small businesses, big hearts, and hometown heroes that keep our community thriving. We're kicking things off today with a business that truly knows how to keep Pampa cool in the summer and cozy in the winter, Hall's Heating and Air. Amy Chaney and Jimmy Chaney are no stranger to the Pampa Chamber of Commerce or our Facebook pages, but we want to welcome them today and introduce you to their side of Behind the Counter.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're going to take behind the scenes to meet their team, hear their story, and find out what keeps them going through 100-degree heat waves and freezing West Texas cold fronts. You can drop questions in the comments, and let's go beyond the counter with Hall's Heating and Air. Okay, first off, even though your face is on billboards around town and on commercials, and you're here with us and we know you well, Amy is actually the current chairman of the Pampa Chamber of Commerce, and we would like you guys to introduce yourself, your business, your positions within the business, and tell us a brief synopsis of what your business does.
Okay, well, I'm Jimmy Chaney, and I own Hall's Heating and Air, so obviously I'm the owner, and my position is I have it pretty well in the company, so I'm the visionary. It's a lot of my ideas, a lot of my things. I have a lot of other people that make it happen for me, and fortunately I don't have to do that right now. I'm super proud of that. My wife does a lot more than I do in the business.
That's right, too. And I'm Amy Chaney, and so I'm the doer of the company. So Jimmy thinks of the really great things, and I implement them and get those out to our team. We have an amazing team. So while we may be at the top of the food chain, per se, we have an amazing team, an amazing leadership team. Our team has been with us for a lot of our core team has been with us for a really long time. So obviously, Hall's Heating and Air does residential heating and air conditioning services, as well as commercial refrigeration services. So commercial refrigeration is anything that heats or cools outside of an AC or furnace unit. So like when you think about when you go to the grocery store and you reach in to get your milk, that's a commercial refrigeration piece of equipment. When you're thinking about who cooks your food at a restaurant, any of that restaurant equipment, we do all of that, along with a whole bunch of other things that kind of live outside of that realm. So that's what we do.
If it heats or cools,
if it heats or cools, we touch it.
You guys talked about your team a little bit. How many people are on your team?
About 26 right now.
Yeah, somewhere there. It kind of fluctuates just a little bit sometimes, but yeah, I think we've got 26 employees.
And how many did you start with when you took over Hall's and Steve's?
One.
One, and then we added two, and then and we kind of used our team from our other companies to kind of help get that managed, but there was not much going on for a really long time when we first got Hall's. So yeah.
This is not one of the questions, but you guys did a pretty major marketing campaign, and how much growth did you see in that number with your team from before your marketing campaign to now?
Oh, it's been huge.
A lot. I think we've probably added on anywhere from, well, I'll say this. At Christmas, our more than 50% of our team was brand new to the team, had been there less than a year at our Christmas get-together that we had. And that was a crazy realization for us. So I would say at least 50% of our team came because of our growth with our marketing and rebrand that we did last year. So that was a huge, huge thing. We'd already saw a lot of growth to begin with, and that really, really spurred it on. So yeah. More than 50% of our team came from that.
I know how passionate Jimmy is about the marketing and rebranding, so I definitely want to talk more about that, but I'm going to go back and try to keep the questions a little more in order.
Sure.
Okay, so tell us a little history, or your history with Hall's Heating and Air, or even history before you guys took it over.
Oh, well, the history of Hall's Heating and Air. Well, Hugh Hall, he started the company many years ago, about 50 years ago, I believe. They did plumbing and heating and air. Hugh eventually sold the company to Rob, and that's who we bought the company from. And then, of course, we combined with Steve Fuglin with Steve's Refrigeration at some point. That's been about 4 years ago, or maybe closer to 5.
Time
Or-
flies when you're having fun.
It does fly. So I'll let you add to that.
So we bought Halls Heating and Air in February of 2019.
19.
So we just passed our
Yeah.
6-year anniversary with that. And then, yes, there was a point in time during COVID that Jimmy was not doing a whole lot, but thinking of things to do. And so he was like, hey, let's see about commercial refrigeration. And that's when that conversation happened with Steve Huglin. And then we bought them out in April of 2021. And so, and then obviously the rebrand happened almost exactly a little bit over a year ago last year. So we became just Halls Heating and Air and still offer all of those services, but that rebrand was a really big deal. And so that's been where we've been at with the company. So when we first started with Halls, Rob stayed on as an employee, and then, our son Jackson graduated on a Friday from high school, and on Monday he was at work working with us, and he didn't know anything. He is our longest standing Halls Heating and Air employee. He is still with us. Sometimes I wonder how he is still with us, or how the two of you didn't strangle each other, because that was quite a thing to work around. But and he takes great pride, and I do too, in the fact that he's our longest standing employee. So he's still with us today, and I'm sure many of our people watching have had him in your homes. So we're happy to have him. And then we also several of our children have, actually maybe all of them have worked in the company at some point or another. Jasper worked with us for a really long time. Sadly, he moved to Lubbock, but he'll be back. We know he will be. So, and then Shay, our daughter, most people probably watching know her, and she works with our company now too. So we have those two, but we never wanted it to be our family's business. We wanted it to be everyone's family's business. So that's a big deal to us at Halls Heating and Air, is family. That's one of our core values. It's our number one core value. And so we really make sure that everyone in our company feels like a family with us. So yeah.
And I definitely think that's part of your culture. But while we're talking about family business, I think that is the epitome of the American dream, right? Is that you can build a business that you can pass down to your children and your grandchildren. And we've seen a lot of that go by the wayside in recent years. And I think we're seeing a trend back towards it. Mm-hmm. Do y'all have any advice for people who are working with family or thinking about working with family, about balancing working as husband and wife? I mean, you guys are a power couple, but it's not always easy with different personalities, and it's different at work than it is at home.
Well, it's probably been difficult at times, but with our kids, they're treated just like anyone else. They're not really treated like our kids, even though there's been times they kind of want to
be treated like your
son, but all that's passed because we don't allow it, and we have good kids. I'll say that we have very good kids,
and we've always, somebody else is their boss in our company. So where we're not their direct supervisor. So if our kids, need to be, reprimanded, then it's not us. And so that's a big deal. And then as far as working together, really for to be married and to have a business, and not take work home is really, really difficult, because we are so passionate about this. So we do have a lot of conversations even at dinner about work and stuff. But for us as a married couple, in order to make things stay cohesive, is to really define roles. So we know Jimmy is the visionary of the company and Amy's the implementer of the company, and we really take those roles and we take them seriously. And so we try to stay out of each other's lanes. We've done a lot of personality assessments, working type assessments, to where we understand how we're different. So we also understand how we fill each other's gaps as opposed to butting heads, and that has been game changer for us. So
the book Rocket Fuel was a very good read for
Rocket
people
Fuel.
working together.
Yeah, and then Rory with Action Coach has done a lot of work with us on working geniuses and what your working competencies are. That has been game changer. Some of this stuff really feels like marriage counseling more than it does anything, a personality test. But it really has been very beneficial for us to understand he works differently than I do, and vice versa. But together, we come together to be able to really fuel our company, and it requires both of us and our talents to be able to make that happen together. So thank you.
I love that. And a big, out to Action Coach of West Texas and
Huge
Rory.
shout out.
You guys met him through the chamber, is that correct? So
Yes.
we love making those kind of connections.
Yes.
encourage anytime that he is at one of our luncheons or something, people to participate. I think y'all met him at one of our breakfast things last year.
Yeah, and I hired him immediately.
Yeah. If Rory is if Action Coach is slated to be at a luncheon, make sure you are here. That is the one thing I can say. So your $15 lunch is going to end up getting you so much more value than a $15 lunch, because there is such good information every time he comes. So
you also mentioned passion and being passionate about your business and everything. So what keeps you passionate about your business? How do you help that drive that passion?
People.
The people, our employees, our customers. Of course, we love our customers. We love people, and it's fun to grow things. It's really fun to grow things.
It's really fun.
It's fun. It doesn't mean it's always not stressful, but it's so fun to like take something and make it and perfect it. And we're far from perfect, but we shoot for perfect, and we're constantly having to pivot. I use this word recently a lot, but we're having to like pivot and change what we're doing and to get better. And of course, I am a perfectionist, so it's sometimes hard for me that things aren't perfect, but if you don't shoot for that, you won't even be close.
Absolutely.
And to see our employees really grow, that's been a big deal for us, and to see them be able to have great opportunities. I will say this, there is not one single person that I know of. We've hired quite a few, so if I'm saying this wrong, I'm so sorry, but to my knowledge, there's not one single person on our team that has a college degree. But yet they all have really great career paths and have really great careers. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to know that they don't have to have a college degree, and that we're able to offer and provide for them opportunities for salaries that are most companies, you'd have to have a college degree to make that kind of money. And that's something that we're very, very proud of. And so that keeps me passionate about it. That, and what does success look like for a lot of people is a big thing. So for us, success isn't always equated to dollar signs. And I tell my children this all the time, is success does not always mean dollar signs. So for us personally, really, we're now starting to think about legacy. And what is our legacy going to be? What are we going to leave whenever we are said and done with this? And so we want to make sure that it's something that is viable enough to continue on, even when we're ready to retire and maybe not be 100% in the business, that it's something that continue on, and that we're able to still give to the community and be a good foundational figure to help the growth in our community too. So our growth is community growth, is how we view that. And so that's the part that keeps us passionate. So.
That is a perfect transition to this question. What goals or vision do you have for Hall's Heating and Air moving forward, especially as Pampa begins to grow? I know that when the head of Duos Technologies came and spoke at our chamber banquet, one of the things he said is we need, heating and air businesses. And so you guys are ahead of the curve on that. But growth is happening in Pampa, so there will be more homes, there will be more opportunities. What does that look like for Hall's Heating and Air and you guys?
I'll let you go ahead.
So with Hall's, we have what we call the win-win-win motto. And so what we mean by that is when our customers win, then our employees win, then the company wins. And then when the company wins, the last, there's a fourth win, and that is the community, then the community wins. So that really is what that looks like to us. And so that's exciting to us. The more growth that comes to Pampa gives us a bigger opportunity to be able to serve more customers. And customer service is a big deal to us. Again, like Jimmy said, we don't always get it right, but I guarantee you that if we get it wrong, you will find that we want to be there to right the wrong. And so customers, being able to have those long-term customers and be able to serve those customers in a way that they're happy, and then to be able to serve our employees in a way that they're able to make a great career with us, providing them with all the tools that they need to be successful. Training. So growth to me in Pampa equals more training for our employees as well. And then again, like I said a minute ago, is as the company wins, then we're able to pour back into our communities even more.
And we're super passionate about pouring back. I've been that way my whole life.
Yeah.
It seems like it just grows every year. As we have more, we're able to give more, and it's really exciting. philanthropy is something that's like heavy on our mind. I want to do something really big someday.
It's fun to watch,
Yeah,
you
and
guys. Your growth and your giving,
Yeah.
and the correlation between the two has been fun to watch. Most people don't know this, but Amy was in attendance at I don't even remember what I was speaking at, maybe Rotary or something.
It was
When
a Rotary
I was
luncheon.
brand new to the chamber,
Yeah.
and I presented this new idea of membership and this brand new
Sponsorships,
crazy
yeah.
sponsorship idea. And Halls Heating and Air was our very first Vitality sponsor in 2022.
Yeah.
And you guys have continued to do that. So you guys have been a big part of the chamber's growth and consistency, which correlates to community growth as well.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. But you guys also you've talked a couple of times about training, and that's something I see you guys do. Y'all were at the harbor with Action Coach last week
recently,
training you guys. And so y'all will completely basically close down
Yes.
and do a full day of training your people.
Yeah.
But you're not even necessarily training on like the actual working on the equipment. You're training them, their mindsets, and things like that. Do y'all want to talk about that at all?
Sure. I mean, we're also trying to create not just better employees but better people, so that's a small part of it. But of course we do technical training continuously, like at least 1 to 2 times a week with everyone. And soft skills are a huge thing, because a lot of people soft skills isn't just something that you have naturally, and whether that's being sales skills or whatever you want to call it, just being able to deal with the customer, to have better customer service, and to be
Absolutely
all those things. It's not something that just happens. I mean, you have to be trained for that, and we're big on it. We're huge on it.
Yeah, we are. We're huge on it. So Jimmy especially used to have the mentality of, we don't have time for training. And that was our mistake early on in the business, is we didn't have time for training, because especially when it's 110 degrees outside, we especially didn't think we had time for training then, because we gotta go, we gotta make that money, we gotta do these things, blah blah blah. And at certain point we had a business coach that said, you can't afford to not train, was what he told us. And that was a hard concept to grasp, because go ahead.
And we haven't been perfect about it. For example, every year we get better, but it seems like in the summer, we make most of our money in the summer, and we get really busy, and we start skipping trainings, and
and then it shows.
It shows.
Yeah, if we have a customer complaints, that's a very real thing in every business. When we start getting those customer complaints, we take a look and say, okay, what are we doing here? What does that look like overall for the company, and how do we course correct this? And then we'll be like, oh, well, we haven't been doing our weekly training. And so then we're like, well, that starts with us as leadership. So training is a really big deal. So training your people, it not only helps them to be better for your company, but it also shows them that you are invested in them as well. So that's a big deal too, because we're very heavily invested in our employees. So
I think a lot of times a business will hire someone that's a great person, a great fit. They may have knowledge, but they don't take the time to train them within the business, or within, as a human, like the soft skills. And we expect people to just figure it out and to learn and to grow into the environment we've created. But I think you guys have created a culture of learning, and that way you're all learning, you're all growing, and everybody's kind of moving in the same direction. And if they're not, they kind of fall away and they move on to something else because they're not in that path.
Well, you have to set people up for success, and sometimes it's really hard for someone like me, because I think, oh, they should just know. People don't just know.
People don't know.
And
they don't
know
just
how
know.
you want it done.
It's like teaching your kids a lot of times. I think a male version of teaching the kids a lot of times is to say, hey, go do this. And expect the boys to know how to do this, but they really don't know how. And they'll probably mess it up trying to figure out how.
That is a common thing I'll tell him. He'll say, why did this happen? And I would say, well, because they didn't know. And he'd be like, how do they not know? And I'm like, well, how did you know? Who taught you? And so I'm like, that's not a common thing today. And so, and that speaks also to like generations. We do have a younger generation. They are different than us.
Completely.
And that's not a bad thing. I think that it was hard for us to learn that, but learning what their skill set is. Our younger generation is all about working smarter and not harder. That's not a bad thing. That speaks to efficiencies. And so how do we mirror what they are good at and pair that again, like what are our differences, and pair those together and make that work together. And that's something, again, Action Coach has really, really helped us with. That was our training we just had the other day was, what are you good at when it comes to how you work, and how do you partner with someone else on that, and how do you make that workflow happen? So that's been great.
And put people in positions with the skills that they are good at, the things that they naturally possess, versus trying to make them fit into something that they don't naturally lean towards.
Absolutely.
Okay, pitfalls. You kind of mentioned, things that you maybe made a mistake with when you were first getting started. So are there any things that you would warn a small business getting started, or that's going through things, or somebody watching? What are some common pitfalls you've seen other small businesses face, and how can they be avoided?
I'll start with that. I think I'll go back to Chaney Construction. I had Chaney Construction for 17 years, and I had a really good business, but the truth is I was the business, and if I wasn't there, it was a mess. And if I went on vacation, I was on the phone the whole time.
You didn't go on vacation.
Yeah, I didn't really go on vacation.
You were with us, but you weren't with us.
So I think one of the pitfalls is not building your business so that it sustains without you as solely. And I think that I had a massive heart attack 4.5 years ago, and that was a really eye-opener to me. And that's kind of why we stopped doing construction and started focusing on this. So, now we have managers, we have people trained, and we have coaches, and I'm not the business. If I was to die today, Amy could just go right on without me, or if we were both to die, it could go on without us. And to me, a business should be there to serve you, and it's a really hard thing to learn. It's really hard to give up control, and
that was going to be my next question. How do you relinquish that control? Because I think that's the scary thing for most people, is to trust someone else to run their business, or trust the business to run itself without you. So it is relinquishing control.
It is, but it's a good thing. And you find if you have the right people, they often don't do things the way that I would like it done, but it maybe gets to the same outcome. Sometimes it's actually better. Sometimes it's not. But you know what? I don't have to be involved, and I try to just do my best to just ignore that and put it aside as long as it's not too drastic, and let people do things kind of their way to a large extent. And people have other skills that I don't have, and they also have a different view that I don't have.
So and I think then too, talking about the training and learning how to set people up for success. So training them, this is, building that culture of this is the way we do things, and then then they know, okay, this is acceptable, this is not.
Setting the expectations.
Setting expectations. With our management, we have a clear, this is what you can do without asking us, this is what you need to do, and we have a conversation. Our sandbox.
It's called a sandbox assignment.
So, then anything outside of this, you're not allowed to do at all. And so, and then giving him that freedom to do that. I'm a control freak. And that was really hard when we hired an operations manager. But again, I had worked myself into a position where if something happened to me, it was going to look really rough for a while. And so with Sam, though, bringing Sam on and really hiring that position, I had to really, really learn, okay, again, like Jimmy said, is he may not do it the way that I would do it. It doesn't matter as long as it got done at the end of the day and it was for the benefit of the company. And so that once you can let go of that icky feeling of letting go of that control, you really see that like, oh, this is great. And then there have been times where, we just stepping back and looking at everything, and I'm like, man, I am beyond proud of our team. This isn't us. This is our team. And our team has like really, really grown and flourished, and seeing them grow into their own selves has been amazing. And so being able to look at that and say, I'm so proud of our team is a big deal to us. So, and I'm really proud of our team. We've had a lot on our plates lately, but our team has managed and made things happen. And I'm like, man, I didn't even have to say, hey, this needs to be done. I look up and it's already done. And I'm like, this is what this is for. One other, I want to just switching gears real quick though. You talked about pitfall. One of the other things, obviously marketing, branding is a huge deal to us. It's something that we both became very passionate about throughout the years. And then we really got passionate about it when we started looking at the rebrand. But marketing is a big deal. I think a lot of people have a great concept. They open a business, they come in, they're gung-ho, they put an open sign, they have a Facebook page, they maybe, put some shout outs on Facebook and share some posts and make some posts. But that's about the extent of their marketing, and it breaks my heart to see people close within that first year. And I'm like, you cannot rely on that the community knows you exist. Just because you think the community knows you're there, they may not. So really,
and you get forgotten.
Yes, really being top of mind and looking at your marketing plan before you ever even put an open sign on your door is a big deal. We feel like that's a common pitfall for businesses.
And then on top of that, being involved, being out, networking, building relationships with other people. And really, Rory spoke, and this really spoke deeply to me, is about a lot of us people have developed a mindset of basically, what can the chamber do for me? What can the city do for me? But, we've got to get back to like, what can I do for the chamber? What can I do to serve? And whenever you develop that mindset and you're helping with not really just your money, but your time or whatever way you can, like, you really make a difference. And that people, it just naturally happens. You can't really put a value on that. I mean, I can't say, I've got X amount of business from the chamber, but I can assure you it works.
Just even the luncheons, you know, getting to know people and the businesses that are actively involved in the luncheons with the chamber, to see their growth. I know they equate it to that, but I personally equate it to that, because people want to do business with people they know.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Be known. Get out there, be known, go help with the things. And it doesn't require money. There's tons of volunteer activities that can happen with all the nonprofits in our town, or other businesses or different things. Get involved and get out there and help serve. And that really helps you be known. Again, people do business with people they know. So that's, I think, another pitfall is to just open your business and think that people are just going to know you exist. Be known.
I'm going to give a little shout out to Seth Harrison.
Yes.
We did an interview with Seth yesterday.
I think that kid has done it right. He's involved. He's out there. He's doing all the right things. And he's going to have an amazing business someday. Huge.
So anybody watching, if you don't know, Seth Harrison is the owner of SJH Landscaping. Yes. Seth is 21 years old, and we did our Beyond the Counter interview with him. We recorded it yesterday, so be watching for that episode. He started his mowing business when he was 12. And he created his LLC when he was 16. Yep. He started coming to the chamber. He's the youngest ever chamber board member, and will be our president next year. Yep. Our chairman. Yeah, chairman. So yes, we feel the same way about Seth. Like, he shows up and people know him and want to do business with him in the same way.
It's fun to watch him grow.
It's
He's growing a little bit.
Yeah.
So
super proud of him. And not just in the chamber, like, he's actively involved in the Lions Club, and I'm sure there's tons of other things. If you don't have a Seth Harrison on your board, you need a Seth Harrison on your board.
And don't be afraid to give, space for someone who's young and doesn't know anything, because he's not afraid to ask questions. Hey, I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what this is.
He's great.
He's eager to learn and willing to help, and we don't know what we would do without Seth.
I agree. So you're welcome, Seth.
Okay, let's see. This kind of a few different things. I'm going to kind of combine a couple of questions, because one of the questions is, how do you stay connected to the local community? And the other one is, what resources and support systems do you use for your small business? And I think kind of those are connected because of what we've been talking about.
So staying connected, being involved, and again, that being known. And I think that once you really get active in that, then there's a lot of things that go on in Pampa that we don't really even know about sometimes, that we look and find them, but people now know they can come to us. And because we've been out there, we've been active in the community, we're involved all the time, and so people now can come to us and say, hey, I need some support in this. And so get involved with the chamber. Like I said, even if you're just coming to those monthly luncheons, there's a lot of impact in that. Learning about what's going on in the community, that's a big deal. It's fun for us now. Now we can start seeing, like, oh, this person's doing this over here and this person's doing this over here, but they don't know about each other. And it's like, making those connections has been a big deal for us too lately. Is like, hey, you should get together with this person because y'all are both passionate about the same things, and making those things happen. So that's a big deal. But as far as resources go, this is another big one that a lot of people probably don't realize, and it can be a pitfall. So what does success look like? And so for us, we really like to take someone who is successful at what we're trying to achieve and model ourselves after that. So consulting firms, business consultants, coaches, mentors, whatever you want to call them, Action Coach is a wonderful resource locally, but finding someone who knows your industry that can help you is a big deal. They hold you accountable. Again, why reinvent the wheel when you know this person is in my industry and has done this, has gone through these things, and they're successful and doing what they do.
And then the biggest thing that I would say, because I was so guilty of this, is you can develop a mindset of saying, oh, that won't work. You don't understand Pampa. Pampa's a small town, blah, blah. But, you know, a lot of people, it will work if you just do it. And I'm a believer in that now, but I didn't used to be. And it kind of maybe was an excuse to an extent. But, you know, yeah, you have to listen to these people and do what they say.
Yeah. And again, maybe you're not ready for a business coach right off the, or well, I shouldn't say you're not ready. Everybody needs one. Like if you think you don't, then you're wrong. You definitely need a mentor of some kind. But even just starting with a mentor and a partner, someone who you can ask those questions on, someone you can go to and say, man, I'm really struggling with this. What do I do? Because, you know, even if you're not in the same industry as us, let's say you own a restaurant. I don't know. I'm just using an example. And we're in heating and air conditioning. Like we're here for people. We want people to ask us questions. We're not perfect. We don't know it all, but we definitely are eager to learn from the people who are successful, who know more than us. We're smart enough to know that we don't know everything, and we will find the people who can help us know what we need. But find mentors that can really help you that are in the community. And sometimes too is we get in our own heads, like we view our company as, well, this is just the way it is. And we're not able to look at our company from unbiased opinion. And like, maybe what we're doing doesn't work. Maybe maybe we need to do something different, or maybe we need to view it in a different way. And so having a mentor really, really helps with that. And like I said, Action Coach is an amazing opportunity for that. That's why we say if they're at a luncheon, you need to be here because you'll get valuable information from them.
One of my favorite moments from Coffee and Commerce last year, which was our Action Coach series we were doing in the mornings, you guys were there and another small business was there, the owners of another small business, and they were talking about the difficulty in hiring and things like that. And you guys offered for them to come sit in with you guys through your interview process and stuff. And so that's a connection and a resource.
It's fun to share.
And there are other business owners, like you're willing to help other business owners. Other business owners are willing to help. So it can work like that. It is about community over competition.
Absolutely. And that, I want to say that, I'm glad you said that word competition, is that, don't be afraid to ask people in your same industry for questions. Some of them may not be willing and open to talk to you, but most of them are. So like for us, it takes all the heating and air conditioning companies in our area to make this thing work. We can't service all of Pampa, and we don't want to. We have to have all of our other people in our industry, like, you know, Larry Baker and H&S and Apodaca, Pampa Heat and Air. I hope I didn't miss someone. If I did, I'm sorry. But, you know, all of this, it takes all of us to make this community go round.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, we're here for anyone in our industry or otherwise. And most people are. And I think that we think that, because we're doing the same thing they are, then it's this competition, it's bad. But it's not. Competition is good for everyone. And being able to help your community as a whole makes us better. So don't be afraid to ask people that are doing what you do, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Where are you at? They've probably been through the same thing you have. So yeah.
There's a reason there's that old saying, there's what's good for the community. What's better for the community. Two doctors is better, right? Because there's competition there. There's somebody else's second opinion. What's better for the community? Two attorneys, right?
Yeah, well,
and as the community grows, we will see more heating and air businesses. We will see more of everything. And we have to be in that understanding mindset of we're a community. And just because you're in the same industry does not mean you're arch nemesis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we have a question.
Just a comment.
Yes, Amy is exactly right. There are enough clients for everyone in the same industry. It's better to work together than apart. Michelle
Absolutely.
Osborne from Out of Here Travels. Thanks for watching
Absolutely.
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
commenting. Yeah, you guys comment, ask questions. If we get a really good response to this, we'll do more lives like this.
And Michelle has been great. She helped us plan a well-deserved vacation with our family once, and so we appreciate Michelle. She's great service to our community.
Yes, she is amazing, and she always does our trip, our Vegas trip
Yes,
for the
she-
country
yeah,
fair.
she coordinates that
she's
for us.
amazing. What are you most proud of when it comes to Hall Heating and Air? I think you've kind of already touched on it, but
I think for me, I'm most proud of the growth that we've had, and that we've. I hate to consider ourselves successful, but I do feel successful. I mean, and we've really overcome so many things. We've grown. We've pivoted. We employ more and more people. We're growing even a little bit outside of Pampa, and I'm excited about that. Me personally, our rebrand. I'm super proud of our rebrand. That's something that I worked hard on, and it's made a huge difference in our business. I mean, we're visible. You probably, if you see us, you can't unsee us, and
Yeah.
that's really a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And,
By the way, orange is not
I-
my favorite color, but it is now.
I was going to say you have your orange on for
We
your
do,
branding.
yeah,
Consistent marketing.
Yeah. That was a big deal. But again, I think it just comes down to the growth of our team and really like I said, there are moments in
super
time
proud.
where I step back and I look and I'm like, oh, wow, like look at this. And it's not us, it is them. But being able to put those people into place and to empower them to help us with this journey has been amazing.
Oh, and then one other thing is for us to have like great benefits, to have all the benefits
Oh,
from
yeah.
401k to health insurance, everything that any big company would have, we have, and I'm really proud of that because I didn't always have that with my construction company, and after my heart attack, I realized like everyone has to have health insurance, and it's super
a big
important,
deal.
and we have amazing health insurance. By the way, so.
That's awesome. That is rare in small businesses
Yeah.
to be able to do
Oh,
that.
it's expensive. It's very expensive.
But we've that's been a
A
priority to us
It
and a
has.
commitment, and we've been able to maintain that because it was an importance to us. So yeah.
That's awesome. You guys are amazing. Okay, what is the most valuable lesson you've learned through your time operating a small business?
The most valuable lesson.
You don't know everything.
Yeah, I was kind
That's
of.
probably good for marriage too.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of thinking along those lines because I know in my construction company I was just so like into myself, and I knew, and I knew, but learning to like listen to other people and like follow. We have social media, which is great. You can follow all these other people, and some they have a lot of dumb ideas, but some of them are really good too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to pick and choose and learn from other people, and really just to get outside of here in general, and like get other people's take, get other people's advice, opinion, and actually implement those things, and to keep an open mind. I think is super important.
I'm going to say for me, the most valuable lesson that we have learned is that's the way we've always done it. Will kill your business in a hurry.
Yeah.
Just
And a
because-
community.
It will.
Yeah.
And just because that's the way it's always been done doesn't mean that's the way you should keep doing it. There's that is a very that puts chains around you, and it tells you you're not allowed to grow and to do things. And other value is sometimes like we don't work, we're different, but we have to really listen to each other sometimes. So listen to your employees too, and have that where they can be a part of that, because again, we don't know everything, but being willing to listen to them too, because they have a lot of great things to bring to the table.
What advice would you give someone opening a small business?
Plan. Budget. And when I say budget, I don't just mean financially. I mean budget of how you're going to make things happen. For us, it was something we had to learn very early on, was that we're very seasonal, and so how do you making the most of your money in one part of the year? How do you make that stretch for the rest of the part of the year? So plan for that. So if you're opening a business that's seasonal, make sure you have a plan for that. Plan, within your budget, there should be a marketing budget or plan. And so what does that look like? How do you reach your ultimate consumer in a way that it's not maybe how you think, but how do they think? And so getting out of your own head and really doing that. So plan, and learn as much as you can from people. Get out, network, learn from people, take advantage, join the chamber, take advantage when Action Coach is here, or when any of our speakers, you get to learn about the community and go, oh, hey, I didn't know about that. And so plan, learn.
And for me, I would say that you're gonna if you truly want to make it and be successful, like you're gonna have to develop like a tenacity, a stubbornness inside you, that you have to be willing to go through the hard times. You have to be willing to figure it out. You may work 24/7 sometimes, but to get to the other side, like you have to be willing to literally dig deep. And I think that's why a lot of people fail, because they don't have, you know, the tenacity to like stick it out, because it's not always fun, and there's some very hard times. I think any business owner would tell you that. It may look easy, it may look simple, but there's some very trying times. You have to be willing to go through that, and you have to be able to see a vision on the other side of it. And sometimes it's hard because it can get really dark at times. So stick it out.
Well, and we kind of talked before we got started about, you know, advice for a small business. If someone had tried before and maybe their business wasn't successful, and would you give them that same of like, what advice to keep going or try again? Find something you're passionate about and don't give up. If you have that in you, that you think you're meant to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, if you have the great idea, come see Spencer at the EDC, work through the business plan.
But I would also encourage people to make sure that they're really cut out for business, because just because you're, say, a good HVAC person or a good electrician or a good painter doesn't mean necessarily that you're cut out for business. Everyone just absolutely isn't. And I think people who maybe, say, come from a trade or something and start their own business, they're always stuck back in the trade. Does that make sense? So
absolutely,
business is hard. You have to learn a whole different skill set of management, dealing with customers. So it's not for everyone, for sure.
But you can't, again, if you know if you know where your weaknesses are, you can get the right people in place to help you fulfill those weaknesses.
That's the trick.
It is.
Knowing your weaknesses and finding people to fill those.
And you know, it's funny with the construction company. You know, we chose to close that. Hall's Heating and Air took off during COVID year, and it was and then after your heart attack, we really took a look at everything that we had, because we had a lot of businesses at that time, and so we really looked at everything and said, okay, if we close these down and get rid of these, and we focus on this, what would happen? And we made the right choice, definitely. But we do still have
kind of scary at the time.
I know it was really scary at the time. And so, but looking at Chaney Construction, sometimes we have those conversations, and it's like, oh, if we ever did construction again, we would do this differently. Because now we're able to look at our company objectively and say, oh, well, that didn't work, and we shouldn't have done that, and we should have done that differently. But we can do that now that we're out of it. And so that's what I'm saying, is be able to make sure you can look at your business in an unbiased way and say, what works and how do I make sure that I don't come into that? So.
Well, and a lot of people have lots of passions. And so they want to do all the passions in the one business, or they open a restaurant and they want to serve all the food. And you can't necessarily do 100 things well, but you can do one well.
I'm glad you said that. That's something too, is figure out what your business model is and stick to that business model. There's a lot of things we could do with our company, but we don't do them because they're not within our business model. So we could go do this and make money doing this, but really it's diverting our attention to what we're really good at. And so that's something our coaches have really helped us to identify and to say, this is what you do, and this is why you do it.
You define your service area, and you stick within that. You define
your services,
and you stick to those.
Yeah.
Inevitably, sometimes we venture out, and it always almost doesn't work out with the way we plan.
I think that's some of the best business advice we've given people here today, right?
Exactly.
Is stick to what you're doing and like hone your skills, hone your
dollars.
team. Don't chase everything. There will always be, and especially with the growth coming in the community, there will be lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
But make sure you're chasing the opportunity that's right for you, that you can focus on and you can do really, really well.
I agree with that.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
There you go.
So-
Everybody write that down.
Yeah.
That's in the notes for today. Okay. And of course, because we are the Chamber of Commerce and we've thankfully talked a lot about chamber membership and everything, we do have a question. How has being a member of the Pampa Chamber of Commerce been helpful as a small business owner?
I'll let you.
Yeah.
go.
So, again, people do business with people they know. So, being able to network, being able to learn what's going on in your community, so you can see how you can best serve. But for me personally, the chamber has been a way for me to be able to help them have the biggest impact in the community in one area, in one place. So, like our sponsorship dollars and our volunteer hours and resources and stuff that we put into the chamber is impactful to more than just, it's not just the chamber, it's helping all these other organizations. So for me, that's like a one-stop shop. So that's a no-brainer for me. It really is. So that's my big thing.
It's just pouring back into our community, and everyone wants more things to do. And I think as a small business, like we have an obligation to help, and we help in a lot of other areas besides just the chamber, but it takes everyone kind of putting things together to make the community work and to build a community. And I'm hoping that that's just going to get stronger and stronger as time goes on. And I think a lot of people through time have kind of lost the value in that somehow, but it's super valuable.
It is.
Yeah, I think they've lost the obligation.
There you go.
I think it used to feel like an obligation. If you opened a business, you had to become a member of the chamber. And I think a lot of what COVID did is taught us to let go of a lot of obligations. But I think in the process of letting go of the obligations, we lost a lot of commitment to community.
Yeah.
Churches, our service organizations all saw a huge downturn through that, the chamber and things like that. And so finding that balance of not feeling obligated and doing things out of obligation in a negative way, but doing things out of commitment to the community.
Oh yeah, it's a commitment, and we love doing things.
Yeah, well, for us, it's like being able to say thank you to the community that supported us, because without our customers, without those people supporting our business, we wouldn't be here. Period. This wouldn't be a conversation we'd be having right now. And so giving back to the community is a way for us to say thank you, because it took everything to make that go round. And so that's our big thank you. Anything that we do in the community is our thank you to the community. So. And
I want to brag about one little thing is we do our employee what's it called?
Engagement survey.
Employee engagement survey. We do that every January, and I'm very happy that we had 100% of our employees agree that they're proud that we're involved in the community and that they're bought into that, because it is one of our core values, and it makes me so happy that we've instilled that all the way down into our employees, that they can be a small part of that and that they bought into it and love that. So
they're proud. They're happy. They
like the parades.
The Christmas parade was a big deal to them, and I want y'all to know we didn't do anything for that. We gave them a budget. We told them a little bit of like parameters, and then we let them run with that, and they loved it. And then they were beyond excited that they got that the Star Award. I can't remember what it's called, but they got the award for the
Nobody
parade.
cares.
They were so excited, but that's a big deal. They want to do things for the community, and it makes me proud to see them do that. So.
Well, and then they raise their children that way, and with the community involvement, and that's how we create generational change in the culture of our community.
Absolutely.
And now we don't have enough room on our parade club. We're discussing that now. What we're gonna do?
We've got to have two now.
I think we need two.
We just
and
discussed
we love
July
that.
4th parade. We just discussed that yesterday in our leadership meeting. So
Okay, well that leads me into my next question. I think I know the answer to this, but I might be surprised it may be a different. What is your Pampa can't live without? Whether it's a restaurant, a store, or an event, what is your go-to must-have Pampa?
I know mine. What's yours?
I don't know, man. I think it takes
1930.
Really?
1930 pizza has been like, if you go at lunch, you'll probably see us there. We're there. We're either there at the Senior Citizens, one of the two. So today's Senior Citizen Day. Brisket at Senior Citizen. If you haven't eaten there, you should go. Today is the perfect day to do it.
They catered brisket at our luncheon last month, and it was
It's
amazing.
my favorite every Wednesday.
And anyone can go.
Oh yeah, you don't have to be a senior. There's a lot of people that go there of all ages.
I'm gonna say the hamburger station.
Oh yeah.
I love the people, the little group of men.
It's your community.
I meet whenever I'm there. I really care for that. Or Finley's is always great too. So
yeah, any place I think for us where we can have our little community and have those people that.
It's really more about the people for us.
Yeah.
So that's what I was expecting. I was either expecting 1930 because you could get your gluten-free pizza.
Yeah.
Gluten-free pizza, yes.
Or
yes.
I was expecting if you chose an event, you would choose 4th of July.
Oh, 4th of July. Yeah, that would be another
Amy is
day.
passionate.
And
Or
what?
Lemonade Day.
Yes.
Hall
Lemonade
Heating and Air
Day
was our big sponsor for Lemonade
was
Day.
amazing.
And yeah, let's talk about Lemonade Day. We've got you.
Yes.
We got a captive audience.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it.
Entrepreneurship is huge, obviously. I mean, you worked a couple of jobs when you were in high school for someone else and you hated them and you vowed that you would never do it again. But entrepreneurship obviously means a lot to us, but to get them started at an early age is a really big deal. I mean, look at Seth. Seth Harrison's a great example of someone who really can take a vision and make that happen. So why not start teaching them at that young age? It's teaching them business skills, a budget, marketing, obviously is a big deal to us. Yeah, in a fun way. And then getting them, customer service skills. And it was so much fun. Yeah, it was so much fun to have them, telling you what would you like, and I have this and I have this. It was just super, super neat to get to see them be creative on their own. Mr. Preston, he was had a joke with every lemonade that he sold. It was amazing. That's creative. To me, that's visionary, and that's a big deal. But man, being a judge for that was amazing. That was my favorite thing I think I did last year, was be a judge for Lemonade Day. So that's a big deal to us, and that was our way to give back to the community again, and to pour into these younger generations really was it for us.
It's funny that you mentioned Seth in your answer to that,
Yeah.
because when we interviewed Seth said Lemonade Day was his favorite too.
Oh, nice.
See? Exactly.
So for any of our viewers watching, if you don't know about Lemonade Day, is a youth entrepreneurship program through the Chamber and the Pampa EDC. There's an app or there's a booklet, and you sign your kids up to do a lemonade stand, but it's a competition. They all do their lemonade stands the same day, the same time. We have community judges that go around. We have multiple awards, and it teaches your children not only entrepreneurship, it teaches budgeting, marketing, everything. And it can teach you as a family, if you go through the program together, all about small business ownership from a very young age. And we are growing Pampa's next generation of business leaders through Lemonade Day, one glass of lemonade at a time.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, so right now it's on the schedule for July 26th, so you will not want to miss that when it comes around. And I think Cambry right now is linking Lemonade Day in our comments, so you can get your kids signed up for that. Okay, so that kind of wraps up our interview stuff, all the questions we had, and we've been doing a little fun this or that with everybody just for a little lighter note. So we're going to do it live on air. Are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early
bird, but I'm not really that early, but I'm not a night owl.
Yeah, that's me. I'm 9 to 9.
Yeah, exactly. Get me in the middle.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hard work or play hard?
Play hard.
Hard work.
Online shopping or shopping local?
Shopping local.
I am an online shopper, or have been in the past, but I have made a commitment that I will only online shop for things I cannot get locally. And I have to say that because I know my UPS delivery guy. He'll be like, "Oh, she online shops." But I do shop online and make sure that my sales tax dollars are coming back into Pampa. So if you're gonna shop online, make sure your sales tax dollars are coming back into Pampa.
And we did an interview with Shane, our city manager, about that yesterday. So we'll be posting it.
Yes.
If y'all don't know, the people watching, National Small Business Week is the May 5th through 9th. 5th through 10th. Thank you, Cambry. And so that's what we started this series for, and that's what we're leading up to and introducing, so everybody be supporting our small businesses, especially that week, this coming week, and all the time, but during that. So he touches a little bit on the legislation that's going on with keeping your tax dollars local with your online shopping.
Absolutely.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs. But we only have a cat.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Winter.
Barbecue or burgers?
Barbecue.
Burgers. We're so different.
Big event or cozy gathering?
Cozy.
Big event. What?
Handmade or high tech?
High tech.
I'm probably gonna go high tech.
They finally got one together.
Yay!
Country music or rock and roll?
Rock.
And they can share a playlist. Okay, perfect. Beach vacation or mountain retreat?
Mountain.
Mountain.
Facebook or TikTok?
Facebook.
Denim or dress clothes?
Dress.
Plan it or wing it?
Plan it.
Wing it.
Oh,
Window shopper or straight to the sale?
straight to the sale.
Straight to the sale.
Gift cards or homemade gifts?
Gift cards.
Gift cards.
Sweet snacks or salty snacks?
Any snacks. Sweet or
Salty.
Big dreams or small steps?
Big dreams.
Big dreams.
Podcast or playlist?
Playlist.
Playlist.
Takeout or cook at home?
Cook at home, which is my preference, but it doesn't always happen.
Eat
Or
out.
1930?
Eat out.
1930, yeah.
Start early or stay late?
Start early.
Stay late.
T-shirt or button up?
Button up.
I would prefer t-shirt, but you're probably not going to see me in too many of those.
Dream big or stay comfortable?
Dream big.
Huge.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy and Amy Chaney,
Thank you.
Hall's
Thank you.
Heating and Air, for being our first live Beyond the Counter interview. Is there anything you want to leave everybody with?
4th of July. 4th of July is coming up, and that's a big event. And so if you are a business owner watching this, or a nonprofit organization, it's not even just about money being contributed to. It is, what can you do? How can you contribute volunteer hours, resources to July 4th? It is the biggest impact imaginable. So if you supported only one thing throughout the entire year, this would make the most impact, because we see the most people. This is the largest event in Pampa year round, and so you're able to touch the most people. So if you're looking for something with big impact that you can do July 4th, we're here for it.
So we were able to get cell phone tracking data, and we're actually shocked ourselves with the fact that we have had over 10,000 people consistently
Whoa.
all 3 years at the Pampa Hometown Independence Day celebration. Cambry's typing it in now. You can get all the signups and all of the information for what we currently have going on at pampaindependenceday.com. And we are, of course, looking for sponsors, vendors, activity booths. If you have an idea for entertainment, any way that we can make this bigger, better, and it is all about free family fun for the Pampa community. And we have actually about 30% of the visitors that come to this event are from the surrounding areas, and not even just from Pampa. So anything you can do, it is great. Like you said, marketing for your business. This is the single largest event in Pampa all year round. And so thank you for that last plug for that. All right, you guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.